Today I'm just going to show you my mandatory gear and race kit for UTMB, which is in a few days. So hopefully it helps out some people and gives some insight into the kinds of things we carry for these races. Starting off with, I make my own gels using maltodextrin and fructose. I have a ratio of 1 gram of maltodextrin to 0.8 grams of fructose. For a 500 ml flask of gel, I put in approximately 330 grams total of maltodextrin and fructose and 220 ml of water, and heat that up in a pot. Stir it with a whisk and at about 40 to 50 degrees Celsius, and that should mix well with a whisk. And then I pour it into my Salomon flasks, just the standard flasks. So that's my main nutrition during the race. Obviously I have some other things here as well. I have electrolyte tablets, which I'm planning to take 2 for every aid station. So that's Lecontamines, Courmayeur, Champelac and Valacine, basically where my crew are. Also got magnesium spray for the legs and a little one to carry, and I carry these cramp fix shots also. They're basically a shot of pickle juice, which I find quite effective at stopping cramps. So I've got a little pack of these. I'm planning to carry a few with me on course just in case I get hit by cramps. I've also planned out my water stops in a spreadsheet. Basically the time I expect to take between stops combined with the temperature. It tells me roughly how much water I need to carry. Little adjustments along the way if I'm drinking more than I think I am or less than I think I am. Planning those around aid stations, but also unofficial water points on the TMB. There's basically water fountains throughout the course. Planned out a few that are kind of mid aid station that will be helpful to fill up water at, so I don't have to carry quite as much weight. Now moving on to what am I going to wear for the race. So I've got some blister proof socks here. They're mid-length, so you get a little bit of ankle coverage as well. That kind of helps if it gets really cold up top, then I don't have a gap between that and my long pants. I like to wear a pink headband so people can see me. It can be very hard to spot people in such big crowds. I've got a UTMB race belt where I can put my race number on the front. Got the Tectonex 3s. These are actually new. I'm going to go out for a run with them later today. Just probably one short run with them is enough. I've never had a problem with blisters on new shoes of this kind. Similarly on the legs, I have a long wool pants in case I need that for warmth, or if the cold weather kit gets activated, which is likely, as I said. I have waterproof trousers which go over the top of these in the event of rain or snow. Again, just in the cold weather kit, I believe. And I have a balaclava to keep the head and neck warm. Now, of course, on top of that, we have the waterproof jacket here with hood and taped seams. This one is extremely lightweight and a beautiful color to spot. So I'll pop that here as well. It looks like that's going to be needed with the rain also. Aside from that, we move on to gloves. So I'm going to be using Lecky ultralight poles. I have 3 poles, which means I have one spare in case I get a breakage along the course. I'm going to start with just the standard Lecky half gloves, but I'm planning on changing into my warm weather gear through the night, probably at La Balm, at which point I will switch into the Lecky full gloves. Notice these still have the shark click-in system, so they click into the to the poles there. And to go with them, I have the waterproof over gloves, and the shark system pokes through this little gap here. So you put them over the top of these other gloves and poke that round bit through, and then you can still click into your poles with both sets of gloves. Now I've tried both. It's definitely pretty warm if you've got both on. If you just have the full gloves on, then you are going to notice the wind, and they're going to get wet because they're not very waterproof. I've tested these out on a night run already. I also have a warm weather kit here, which is a bit lighter. So I have some wool gloves and some plastic to go over the top to make them waterproof, for the sections during the day where I don't want to carry the extra weight of the gloves. So moving on to other little miscellaneous things. So I've got some anti-chafing cream for between the legs and under the arms. Under the arms seem to get chafed, particularly when poling, and between the legs is the standard one. And obviously you put tape on the nipples to stop nipple chafing on such long events. I already have an emergency blanket here, meeting the requirements of the mandatory gear, and I have the bandage, which is also in the required mandatory gear. I'm using the Salomon Advanced Skin 12. I actually have the old style and the new style. I haven't decided which one I'm going to use yet. I'm going to play with fitting all of it into each one and decide which gives me better access to the things I need. The bladder, which I don't plan on using, but I need to have 2 litres of water capacity, so probably just have that deep down in the bag somewhere, so that I have the capacity, but don't plan on using it. And the cup, which is mandatory gear as well. You need to carry a disposable, reusable cup for soup and things like that. I have 2 pairs of shocks. I'm planning on changing them at Courmayeur, which is halfway-ish, and that should get me most of the way through the race. For music, last but perhaps most important, the headlamps. So I have got a partnership with Nightcore. I'm part of the Nightcore running team this year at UTMB. So as part of that, I've been provided with 2 headlamps. The first one is the UT27MB. This is their new red light 150 lumens lamp. So this is obviously quite important to have one of the best red light lights on the market available to me for the red light section from Les Contamines up to Col de Bonhomme, where you must use red light. You are not allowed to use white light. So I've got 150 lumens here. It's still going to be a bit of a struggle on the runnable sections up there, but hopefully I can manage. I'm planning on doing another test run tonight with this torch, and to test switching over torches and things like that tonight in the dark. This one also has 800 lumens on the white light, and it also provides warm or cool white light. So I'm actually planning on using this after the mandatory red light section, which is at the beginning of the night. I'm planning on using this around my waist at the 500 lumens max, not the max setting, the high setting, 500 lumens setting, around the waist on warm light, to provide extra contrast for the descents in particular. So I'm just going to put it around my waist after I'm at the top. I'm going to leave it there. I'm just going to turn it on for descents to give me additional contrast and help me to be a bit more confident on the descents. The second head torch is the main head torch, the UT6. This one goes up to 1600 lumens, I think, on turbo, which lasts for about 2.5 to 3 hours, I believe. So I'm planning on having this one on from the top of Bonhomme through the rest of the night. I'll be running it on the on the highest setting for descents, obviously, with the other one around the waist. But for flatter and uphill sections, I will turn down the brightness to high, and so that I have a bit more battery life on that. Obviously alongside that I've got the spare batteries for each. Now note the batteries on these torches are both rechargeable using USB-C, which is very handy. And also note that the spare batteries are mandatory gear as well, though I don't know why you would want to go without a spare battery, because you will run out of light. So they're necessary and mandatory. That's my wrap on the things that I'm planning on carrying for UTMB. Hopefully it's helpful to some people, and maybe explains a bit more about what we're doing in preparation for UTMB. Alright, all the best. I'll see you next time.